now, Tony Perkins, sometimes the truth hurts. And when Tony's here, it's almost like looking in the face of a doctor. Sometimes we don't like to hear what doctors have to say. Tony is got his ear to the ground. He's involved in all of the legislation issues. And there's a few issues going around that pertain to the military. We're going to get into that a little bit later. Dave Reaver's on the program. Incredible testimony. But let's start off, and we'll get to music here with David and Cole in a few minutes. What's the biggest pressing issue? What do Christians need to hear about? I'll stop talking. You start talking.
Well, Matthew, I think there's a lot in terms of what's happening in the nation, spiritually speaking. I think, you know, I'm sensing across America the beginnings of a spiritual awakening.
Okay.
But, you know, oftentimes that comes with great resistance. And we're seeing that really through our public policy. And there's something that happened just about 3 weeks ago that should alarm every American. It happened in California, where
yes.
you reside. Many remember back Proposition 8 that was voted on in California, defining marriage as God defines it, between a man and a woman, and all of human history, 5,000 years of human history. Kind of hard to go wrong when you stick with God in history.
Yeah.
And so 7 million voters did that in the state of California. It was challenged in state court, and it prevailed, stood the test. But then a complaint was filed, or a suit was filed in federal court against this case, and Judge Walker, a federal judge, district judge, released an opinion about 4 weeks ago overturning Prop 8, overturning not only those 7 million voters in California, but if this stands, because it's under the U.S. Constitution, it may go all the way to the Supreme Court, it could overturn the marriage amendments in 30 other states, including the state of Texas.
Yeah.
So that same-sex marriage would be imposed upon the entire nation. But, Matthew, it's about a lot more than marriage. If you read this decision, it's about 135 pages, and Judge Walker comes up with his list of 80 findings of fact. Now, as a federal judge, he took testimony, supposedly. He excluded all of the pro-marriage testimony, just said it was worthless, very biased in his opinion. But in his findings of fact, something that was very alarming. It's fact number 77. And this is what he says. He says, religious beliefs that says that homosexual marriage is sinful, or homosexual relationships are sinful or inferior to heterosexual relationships, harm gays and lesbians. Now, as a finding of fact, if that stands, that means that the government will have to use its power to mitigate that harm. What does that mean? We're not talking about religious teachings. We're not talking about religious broadcasting. We're going much deeper than that. We're talking about religious beliefs. If this case stands, this opinion, we'll have gone in one generation from 1962, when the Bible was banned in public schools, to religious beliefs being banned in America.
Wow.
I mean, this is serious, and most people don't even know. They think it's all about marriage. Really, as long as there are Christians in America, there will be a moral voice. What they want to do is extinguish that moral voice.
I think as long as there's a Texas, there will be a moral voice. Is that right? Okay, it's been a long time since I've been in, like, social studies, but I thought that the name of where we live, our republic, is the United States of America, states being united. And that the federal government was supposed to be small and over here. And if the voters of a particular region or a state decided something, what the heck? When did that all change, where some person's lawsuit can overturn what 7 million people went, took their time, voted, did the thing. Lori and I did that. We voted Prop 8 down, or yes or no, I can't remember. Voted it up, made it stand for what it was, and then one suit can overturn the 7 million.
Yeah, and not
what
only,
the heck?
And again, not just those 7 million in California. This is under the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. It'll go all the way to the Supreme Court and set precedent for the nation. So this potentially wipes every marriage amendment, as I said, including the one in Texas and the 29 other states, off the books. So you're absolutely right. This is really the height of arrogance, where you've got one judge who actually is an open homosexual who had this case, who is redefining marriage. And you're right. I mean, this is, in America, we have a system of representative government. California has a voter initiative. The voters went through the process. They gathered over 1 million signatures to put this on the ballot. They spent about $35 million passing this amendment. And then you have one judge who overturns it.
Now, wait. What do we do then? Because that can't, I mean, what do we do? What do I do?
Well, Matthew, I think we're at a point where, again, I think we got to realize what's at stake here.
Which Texan do I need to talk to take care of this?
Yeah, that wouldn't happen here in Texas, would it? Notice I do have my boots on here.
Yeah, come on now.
You know, first off, I think we need to be praying.
Yeah.
Because I think we need to realize what this is about. This is not just about marriage. Now, I know that's important. It's vitally important to the survival of society. But in this judge's ruling, we see what this is really about. It's about your beliefs that are based upon the Bible being pushed out of the public realm. Meaning that whatever you come up with, whatever you come to the table with in terms of public policy, if you come to that conclusion based upon your religious beliefs, it's invalid.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, this nation was founded on those biblical truths. We raise our children on those biblical truths. You know that this will reach into the home, that if you teach your children about sexual morality, that if you're, and I'm not talking about just homosexuality, I'm talking about teaching them against promiscuity, to remain chaste until they're married, as God intended sexual relations to be only within the bounds of marriage. If you teach them that, that's religious beliefs. That's what comes from our understanding of Scripture. The government is saying that's invalid in terms of adopting public policy.
Can we pound your website? Would that be helpful?
Yeah, because we actually have a petition up there on the website.
Then just put that up for me, Steve. I'm going to look. I wish I had a monitor right here, and then I could read it. I'll have to look over here.
Is it just
FRC.org.
Oh, that's real easy.
It's real easy.
FRC.org. And president of the Washington, D.C. based Family Research Council is sitting here with us, Tony Perkins. But this issue that if you just tuned in, do a 30-second version while your website's up so that people that just tuned in know what to do and to go take the poll.
You go to the website, sign that survey, or not survey, the petition that we'll send to Congress and to the President, because this is about more than marriage. This is about our religious freedom. What Judge Walker did in his decision was basically annul the First Amendment's guarantee of our religious freedom in America. My friends, this is dangerous because you and I have a right to raise our children under the guidance of Scripture. And as Americans, as we'll talk about today, we've had men and women who have given their lives and have sacrificed much so that we can build a nation and a community based upon truth. And that's at stake.
Okay, Tony's website's going back up right now.